Nice.
Chesty, welcome,
What's up,
bro.
brother? How are you?
Good to see you, bro.
Good to see you again.
Thanks very much for jumping back on, man.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be on. Very happy. What is it? When's the last time we did our last one?
Would have been about a year ago, bro.
Yeah, but it wasn't in
Yeah.
person. It was just
remotely.
over Skype or over Zoom, I believe. So
Yeah.
it's nice to actually do it face to face and
100%.
get that closer human interaction and have a bit of fun with it. So thanks for having me on your gig, bro. And welcome to Sydney. I hope you enjoy Sydney. I know the weather's kind of shitty right now, but I hope you're making the most of it for the day you're here. And let's roll, bro. I think the people want to hear a lot of things.
Yeah. And obviously, bro, you've been fucking busy, man.
Yeah. Have I ever?
Insanely busy. And I've got to say too, man, congrats just on your IFBB Pro League Australia. So you got first in the men's physique.
Yes.
Second in the overalls.
Yep.
And then you placed fourth
in all
in
of
the
Australia.
nationals. How does that feel, bro?
Dude, honestly, it feels amazing. It feels surreal. I'd be lying if I sit in here and telling you I didn't want to come first in everything. Obviously, naturally, I'm always going to think I'm the fucking best, and that's a winner's mindset. I've never thought anything other than the best. Even to this day, I know I'm the best. I know I'm the best in the country. I know I'm the most aesthetic in the country. I know from the front I'm untouchable. Everyone knows it, whether they like to admit it or not. I am the spokesperson and the main forefront guy for fitness and aesthetics in Australia, moving this fucking absolute fucking legacy and movement forward. Like, I am that guy, you know what I mean? So I'm always going to think I'm the best, and a placing and a trophy and all that doesn't dictate how I feel about my achievements and my placings and where I'm at with my physique and my bodybuilding endeavors. But in saying that, I'm extremely proud to pull away a first in an IFBB show in Sydney was incredible. To get the second in overalls was also incredible, out of like 12 or 13 stacked competitors, and these guys were rigs. If you saw them, they were animals, man. It was a really, really tough lineup. And then to go against the best of the best in the country in Australia at a chance for the pro card and come fourth, I can't ask for much more because it was my first IFBB debut. And yeah, so for that, the results are great. I'm happy with the turnout. I personally think in the IFBB Nationals, I think I should have won. When I look at the lineup, and no disrespect to the competitors, they all looked amazing. They all brought the heat, and it was a really, really stacked lineup. But when you look at it in terms of aesthetics and men's physique standards, men's physique started off being based on aesthetics. Having the small waist, the tight, round shoulders, the broad back, the round, bulging muscle bellies, and as we know, men's physique 10 years ago was a lot more different when we had the Jeremy Bundias and the Jeff Sides and Sergeyevich Shavershian, however you pronounce his name. These guys were much slimmer, smaller build, earning their pro cards now. The same couldn't be said if those gentlemen and others try to do the same thing now. It'd be almost impossible. They're after huge, huge guys. And, a lot of people make jokes saying that, it's basically bodybuilders in board shorts now. So I personally think I should have won nationals. I had the biggest, the most roundest, the most fullest, the most complete package. If I was to critically analyze myself, where my faults are, I would probably just say that, hey, look, my back wasn't as wide as some of the other competitors, but from the front, night and day, and everyone knows it. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, night and day, nobody fucking touches me in this country, and everyone fucking knows it. Yeah. Everyone knows it, So I think it's a matter of fact for me to take a nice 1 or 2 year off season, bring up my back so that it doesn't get eclipsed by my front. And I think that's what my problem was, because my front is so goddamn elite. It's almost at the Olympia level that when I turn around, the back is just like, oh, your back is good, but compared to your front, it's nowhere near as good. So if I was to critically analyze what the judges were possibly looking for, maybe they wanted that completeness in the physique, aside from size and conditioning. I thought I brought all of that. I thought I was the greatest package on the day. And same with Sydney, there was 2 categories. I won one of the categories, and then the overalls I came second, and the judges' feedback was that I wasn't spreading my back to its full potential and showing my full width of my back. Even Tony Doherty had a chat to me and mentioned that you're a big boy, you got a big back, show your back. show your back, spread your wings, like show it to them. You're not one of these little guys that has to hide away. Like spread your lats out, like show them. So I guess coming from WBFF and being a WBFF pro, earning my pro card there, we had different levels of posing. I was posing more classic physique with the lat spreads, you know, and then the vacuums. So coming into men's physique for the first time, learning how to pose men's physique, learning how to coordinate just my footing and my hand positioning and everything. It was a different ball game. So I think for the future, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows if I'm going to compete again or not? I'm really not thinking about that now. I'm just thinking about running my online empire. Sitting here speaking with you, doing these podcasts. I think podcasts are a natural calling to me too. Yeah. I will be starting my own podcast channel very, very soon, getting my own guests on board, just as you and many other people in the podcast space are doing. And just really elevating my online coaching, giving more of my time to my clients for coaching and my online businesses, my supplement brands, my cosmetics brands, and my Shavershian Fitness, my clothing brand. So I've got a lot of exciting things, and I think we mentioned briefly as well the documentary I've got coming up, Ziz and Chestbrah. We're all going to make it. The story of two brothers, one legacy. That's just being aired by Stan. It's coming out mid next year. So there's a lot on my plate, bro. I've got to be grateful to God. I've got to be happy with my placings, and yeah, man, we'll see what the future holds.
You're a busy man, bro. Yeah, busy. But what was the mental and physical preparation like this time round? Because you've done a few shows before, but I mean, I got to be honest, bro. This is the best you've ever looked. I've ever seen you, bro. Like you look fucking phenomenal, bro. You really did.
Yeah. So great question, man. It was definitely the toughest, but also the easiest prep in many ways. It was the toughest in the sense that I really bit off more than I could chew, didn't realizing how hard doing 3 back-to-back comp preps would be.
Yeah.
That shit was tough.
Yeah.
That shit was fucking tough. And I would have wished that even on my worst nightmare. That was like the hardest thing I've ever done like the second hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Genuinely, that was fucking hard.
Because you were in Adelaide first, yeah?
Correct.
Yep, and you placed third, yeah, in Adelaide?
Yes, I placed third in Adelaide.
Yep.
And then fourth in Adelaide. So didn't do that well. The judges' feedback were like, we want you to come in bigger. And I'm like, all right, you want me to come in bigger? I'll give you more size, boys. That's fine. I'll come in bigger. So what did I do for Sydney? I ate more food. I came in a lot bigger. In fact, I had a Portos and chips the night before. Contrary to what my coach wanted, I had a Portos, I had chips, I increased my calories, and lo and behold, I placed first, and then I just missed out on the other first and got second in the overalls. But I wasn't as tight, but I was still shredded because I'm an ectomorph build, and my muscle insertions and the way muscle sits on my frame, I hold it really, really well. So it just I still looked around 7% body fat. I may have been slightly bloated, but I held the stomach in really, really well. And I managed to control my, my intercostal muscles and my serratus and my rectus abdominis muscles. I managed to control them really well on stage and to give myself that flat, hard look. So to the naked eye or to anyone watching, they wouldn't have been able to tell, but I did a little bit overeat, but it worked in my favor. They wanted to see me come back bigger. I came back bigger, and I got rewarded with a first place and a second in the overall. So I was really happy with that.
Phenomenal, man. Phenomenal effort. And I mean, people say this all the time, like bodybuilding, like I always say it's a science, bro. There's so much shit involved. Like I've done a show myself and, all my uncles are bodybuilders as well. But the amount of preparation and time, like it's a science, bro. Yeah. What did you learn this time round from previous bodybuilding comps?
Well, I learned that I can actually eat more food and look better. Again, a whole bunch of bodybuilders are going to have a hissy fit about this, and fuck them because I couldn't give two shits. But my last coach got me on super fucking low calories, 1,300 calories. 1,300 calories in my peak week, 1,400 in second week out, 1,500 or 1,600 third week out, fourth week out, 1,700 calories. I'm 5'11" and 95 kilos. Someone of my size and stature should not be eating the same amount as like an anorexic white woman, 1,300 calories on stage. And anyone that agrees or supports that statement, they're part of the fucking problem. You hear that? You guys are part of the fucking problem. And I'm not speaking up about this bullshit and getting bullied by a whole bunch of fucking dickheads in the industry who think they know more. just because they've been around longer, but they don't know shit. No one should be eating 1,300 calories, and no one should be supporting that kind of bullshit, even if they're friends with them. It's wrong.
Yeah.
It creates horrible dieting patterns and horrible mental issues within people if they're not strong enough for it, and it's dangerous as well.
Yeah.
So I learned that you don't have to deplete so hard. You don't have to be on such extreme low calories to be shredded and come in and win a show. And the lowest I got down to on this prep with my new coach was 2,300 calories, and even that killed me. At one point, he was like, man, I don't know how the fuck your old coach had you on 1,300 calories, and he laughed. And anyone else I mentioned too, when I was on 1,300 calories, 1,400 in my last prep, they looked at me with such concern, like, how are you still alive? My hair was fucking falling out, dude. Yeah. My hair was falling out on that many calories. I was so malnutrition. I couldn't walk. My girlfriend had to help me put my pants on, put my shoes on. And yeah, this is all normal parts of prep. But dude, it was to the point where I thought I wasn't going to make the stage. I might end up in ER. Yeah. And all I remember was my old coach just laughing at me, calling me a pussy, saying I'm not strong enough for the sport. And it's cunts like that that's like what's wrong with the industry. Yeah. And these motherfuckers will be exposed one way or another.
Yeah. What would you say was the hardest part of this competition for you?
Just the fact of doing 3 back-to-back comps was actually the hardest. That I did not anticipate at all how hard it would be. In fact, I had a laugh about it with my coach, Ethan. I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be easy because I'm doing one comp, then the next one's a week later, and then 2 weeks later we have nationals. How easy. I'm going to be in shape. Might as well do 3. Fuck, I'll do 4 or 5 if I can. Boy, was I wrong. boy, was I wrong. One would be a blessing. Just doing 1 comp would be a blessing compared to 2, let alone 3. So that was my biggest thing I learned on this prep is do not underestimate doing back-to-back preps. It's not for the faint-hearted. Even when I messaged veteran IFBB pros, the top of the top, like names like Aaron Polides and all these other big guys in the industry who've been to the Olympia, when I told them I did 3 back-to-back preps, they're like, yeah, that shit's not easy, man. That's not for the faint-hearted. And then it really hit me, like to hear that from like a number 9 Olympian in the whole world. I'm like, holy shit, I've just done something that's absolutely fucking absurd, especially at my age. I'm 39 years old, bro.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. Like, motherfucker, I should be having fucking kids and worrying about other shit. And instead, I'm there chasing 3 back-to-back competitions like a fucking madman.
Yeah.
So I learned the burnout is real. Mental fatigue is real. And also just protecting my inner peace. I was in such a dark place mentally for the last 4 or 5 weeks of my prep that I at times I actually didn't want to live, and I didn't think I could keep like pushing forward. And I didn't care what a bunch of fucking hardcore, hard-ass, fake-ass bodybuilders are going to say. Oh, but you should be privileged that you're able to do preps. It's a privilege, it's not a right. Like, yada, yada, yada. Shut the fuck up. It takes 1% of the population to jump on stage and do 1 competition. Now let's fucking amplify that by 3 back-to-back comps. Chuck on that steroids, chuck on that calorie depletion, chuck on that managing a relationship, running 4 businesses on the side, and being, the age of 40 years old. That shit's fucking not easy, bro. That shit's not easy at all.
Yeah,
and people really need to speak up and be honest about how fucking difficult it is and how much of a taxing effect it can have on the people around you, the relationships around you, and your own mental health and sanity. And people they talk about it, but they don't talk about it enough. And I don't know if they're trying to stay stoic or like, oh yeah, I'm a fucking sick cunt. This was easy for me. But man, I'm a hard cunt in many fucking ways. But let me tell you, bro, this shit was tough.
Yeah.
This shit was fucking tough.
Yeah, nah, fuck, man. 3 back-to-back, that's insane.
It was tough,
yeah,
bro.
Fucking hell, Chesty. That's insane,
but
bro.
There was method to my madness. I had to do what I had to do. Because my documentary, man, this isn't Chestbrah Stand documentary. I wanted to encapsulate and show my life, the ups and downs, not just the business side, not just the party side, not just the entrepreneurial influencer side, but also the competing side. Yeah. And I wanted to show them everything, and I wanted to get that win and get that moment for my documentary, which would be etched in time. Yeah. Which is a reflection not only to me but onto my brother. And I got that moment, bro. Yeah. And for that, I'm fucking forever grateful.
Yeah, walk me through that, bro. So Stan's just released your up and coming documentary. This has been going on for fucking ages, man.
3 years.
3 years, bro.
3 years.
Wow, Chesty, that's
not
insane.
easy to launch a movie / documentary.
Yeah. So walk me through it. So how did this eventuate?
So the director Tom got in touch with me about 3-4 years ago, And over the years, I've had many like people get in touch with me wanting to do like obviously a documentary or a movie along the likes of like Az and me and what we've done and what I'm still doing and the legacy and yada, yada, yada. I mean, I've turned down everyone. But I knew this opportunity would come in my life. I knew, bro. I knew a long, long time ago that I'm special. And I knew a long, long time ago that my brother's even more special. And I knew something would eventually eventuate from all of this, from our story, from our struggle, from our life, from what we've done in the fitness space and beyond the fitness space. You know, we've ventured into industries that no one can even touch. We've ventured into the hardstyle and the music industry. We've ventured into, the gaming industry. Like there's streamers and gamers using Ziz and Chestbrah as their usernames while they stream and game and post it all online. We've ventured in so many industries and touched so many people's lives way outside bodybuilding. And I don't know anyone else that has done that aside from like, say, maybe like Arnold Schwarzenegger or perhaps C-Bomb. We have ventured completely outside bodybuilding. Yeah. You know, sometimes I've got like 9 or 10-year-old girls coming up to me. They're like, we love you and your brother. We love watching you guys on like YouTube and Instagram. You guys are so cool. Can I get your autograph? And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How's a 9, 10-year-old girl like following me? Like, who the fuck am I? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it warms my heart. And you don't see that with like any other bodybuilders. You don't see that.
There's many people that have passed on, Chesty, and obviously I'm a martial artist, been training for over 30 years, and obviously I looked up to Bruce Lee. And, Bruce Lee, obviously he left a legacy. I can think of a few other people, Nelson Mandela, who's passed on, Princess Diana, but you and your brother, bro, and, the revolution that you guys made, you encouraged so many people to get into the gym, to start lifting weights.
When I was 18-year-old, there was no options. There was no classic physique. There was no bikini. There was no men's physique. It was just open bodybuilding guys in like fucking little G-strings. And it was unattainable to 99.999% of the people because these guys were enormous. I still wouldn't be able to do bodybuilding. Still. Been bodybuilding my whole life. I still would not be classified or be good enough to stand on stage as a bodybuilder if I was doing this 20 years ago. What Az did and what I've continued is he's fucking come in and changed the whole fucking game. Like he's come in and be like, hey, you can bodybuild, you can build your physique, you can build your musculature, you can have a great aesthetic physique, you can look great, you can look lean, but you can still live a life and you can still impress people. And then it was such a huge movement. It was something that was so needed in the fitness industry because all it was this underground community of like autistic bodybuilding lifters who just ate their chicken and their rice and they're all 100+ kilos and nobody gives a fuck about that. Like it was such a sorry to say this, it was such a disgusting sport for the outsider and the normal person looking in that it just wasn't fucking appealing. The reason it was appealing to me and Aziz is we grew up watching action stars, Stallone, Van Damme, Arnold Schwarzenegger. We watched wrestling. You still remember the names, Evan Craig, Sting, Kevin Nash, Goldberg, WCW. We idolized these dudes, and if we weren't fucking watching them 24/7 or watching action movies 24/7, it became ingrained in our minds. And then we had a bit of flair and a little bit of charisma and we used that to create our own superheroes. We dubbed them Ziz and Chestbrah and we used that to catapult like fitness and aesthetics and bodybuilding to the masses, but in a way where it's attainable. None of this shit was around until Az started it, until we continued it. You know what I mean? There was no men's physique until Az died.
Yeah.
Az passed away 2011 men's physique started. You think that's a coincidence? WBFF blew up around 2010 when Az was blowing up on YouTube. Before that, it was all bodybuilding. And all the real ones, all the ones watching this, they all fucking know. Whether they like to admit it or not, that is the fucking truth. Yeah. And the truth will always prevail, my friend.
Yeah.
Always.
You know what too, man? I lost my dad back in 2020 and you're never ready for it, man. It's fucking hard, man. And I have a friend of mine. He's an ex-Special Forces commando. He's also a jiu-jitsu brown belt. And I think death can also be a powerful motivator. And he sent this to me, bro. I'm going to read this out to you. He said, the last gift, the pain we feel when a loved one passes is their last gift to us. Let me explain. When we first hear the news of their passing, it seems like an unbearable weight has been placed on our soul. This experience is not to be rushed through. However, these three things help: tears, time, and talking. These three elements never completely get rid of the pain, although they do help transform and shift that unbearable burden from crushing weight to personal ballast. Just like ballast helps a ship to know it's up from its down, this personal ballast affects us in a similar way. It helps us know our up and our down, our right, our wrong, what is true to us and what is not true to us, what is important in our lives and what is not important in our lives. If that loved one was looking down on your life, what would put a smile on their face? Would they smile if you were living an unhappy life, disconnected from what makes you you, uniquely you? Of course not. Our departed loved ones want us to live connected to what we know is truly important to us. They know personal abundance follows us only when we follow our hearts, following the desires from the deepest parts of us, the same parts of us that was stirred by their passing. The pain of their passing is the last gift our loved ones give us. They give us this pain to reteach us the living how to truly live. We can honor their gift and we can make them smile by getting rid of everything that hinders and becoming fearless, then brave enough to fill our lives with unique actions that bring us love, peace, and joy. That fucking rocked me, man, when I read that, bro. Like, yeah, as I said, you're never ready for it. And, obviously my dad was, part of my world. And do you think the pain of losing a loved one can serve as a powerful motivator, especially when it comes to a sense of duty, purpose, and courage?
Hats off to you, mate. You asking the right questions. More interviewers should ask these kind of fucking questions. Like, oh, what was his favorite hairstyle? Or what shorts did he like to wear? This is the type of shit I want to fucking talk about, bro. Completely and wholeheartedly. There's two ways anyone can go when they lose someone, dude. As we know, you can either sink or you can swim. I could have became an absolute fucking derelict bellend and just fucking went off the rails. Did for a little bit, actually. Picked my feet up eventually, which is great. But I could have gone two ways, man. I could have stopped bodybuilding. I could have stopped working. I could have turned to a life of drugs and a life of just bullshit. And I could have just been like, woe is me, like everything sucks, why is the world against me? But I always had that spark in me, even before I lost Aziz. It was always there that I had this gift, power. And Aziz had it too. Whether you guys want to call it aura, charisma, we just had that gift, and I've always felt special and different to most of the peers around me. And I knew that, when I lost him, I knew that pain would never go away. But the thing is, it's been like about, 39, 20. It's been 14 years. So I'm at a level now where I can speak about it comfortably. I know lots of people around me that have also lost loved ones, and they're not quite at the level I'm at. And in fact, they're in awe when they hear about me speak about my brother in such a way. Don't get me wrong, like I have my moments where I break down and this and that, and they're seldom to little these days, and mostly around birthdays and anniversary of passing dates. But yeah, I mean, time, look, this is how I like to describe it. Like, the scar's always going to be there. You can never get rid of a scar, but by God, 1, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, that scar becomes a lot more faded and you can't see the scar as much. And that's how I like to look at the loss of like an immediate loved one. Like, you will always look back and you'll see the scars on your body. They'll never disappear. And they're a constant reminder of what was. But those scars will surely begin to fade over time before you can even notice them. And when you can't notice them, you forget things like what they sounded like, what they talk like, what they were about, memories that you've shared together, things that you've done together. And that's your brain protecting you in a way. And I also feel it's their spirit pushing you forward to be yourself and to focus on yourself. And I think, it took me about 10 years, and I've said this before on many, many podcasts, 10 years I devoted of my life to my brother to get rid of that feeling. and to do him justice, because it would have been wrong for me to have just taken all of that spotlight and claim it as my own. Like, what kind of a piece of shit would I have been to do that? He made me everything of what I am today. But in hindsight, I made him everything of what he is too. It's like we're the double dragons of fitness and aesthetics, and people just got to admit it and take it for what it is. You know what I mean? Just because that motherfucker was the lead singer of the band doesn't mean that the drummer and the bass guitarist wasn't as important. And that's what you're seeing with these two brothers, bro. So we needed each other for this movement to happen. And unfortunately, me being the older brother, I felt like it happened all the way it did because I might have been the only strong one to bear the burden of the legacy and continue pushing forward to the masses as a father figure, as an older brother figure to all these young men who are misguided, misjaded, and don't have anyone to look up to. In terms of going back to your original question, though, I took a tangent, but in terms of going back to your question, I do think it can do two things: the loss of a loved one, an immediate loved one, and I think it redefined my life. I was always sheltered. I was always very shy. I couldn't speak to someone without giving them direct eye contact. I would not shake someone's hand firmly. I wasn't a fucking man. Like, I was a shadow of a man. I was incredibly shy, incredibly awkward. I've seen all the fucking comments all over the internet. People shit on me saying how shy and awkward I was. And now I read and scroll through comments and everyone's all up in my nuts saying what a sick cunt I am and how charismatic I am, how funny I am, how intelligent I am. But the funny thing is, I was always these fucking things. But hey, when your fucking brother dies in front of you and you see him in the fucking grave and you're fucking putting his headstone down in the fucking dirt, you go try act charismatic and cool and be a sick cunt. See how well you can fucking act when you put thousands of cameras in front of your face. See how confident you are. See how good you feel. So people that were down there for my downfall are all sick, and they're going to get theirs when they go to hell one day, because everyone answers to God. You know what I mean? So they will kick you when you're down, but then when you're rising up and up and up and up, oh, suddenly Chesty's a sick cunt. This guy's a fucking mad cunt. We're all going to ride with him. I like him. He's hardworking. He's tenacious. He's cool. He's doing the same shit he's always doing. Motherfucker, I started this shit. I'm the older brother, and he fucking followed in my footsteps. He came in, he finessed it and did it 100 times. It might mind you, but I started it. You know what I mean? And I think that's what people forget. And somewhere along the lines, I lost myself because of what happened, my tragedy. But all I needed was fucking someone to love me and someone to care for me. My parents weren't there. My friends weren't there. No one was there. They were all just there for the party and the good times and the bullshit. But when I eventually pulled myself back and, refound who I was and just really thought about what Aziz would want from me and my life, it gave me so much fucking purpose, so much power, so much strength. And then that's what you're seeing today, bro. You're just seeing a man that's just become strong through his adversities and through knowing what's right, what's wrong, what the right things are in life, what the wrong things are in life, and where my priorities should lie. And I don't think that would have happened, unfortunately, if he didn't die.
Yeah.
If he's still around, I probably would still be that shy, awkward shell of a kid. That's the truth.
I heard Chris Williamson, so he's a podcast. He's been on Rogan a few times. He said forget how he words this. No one's ever jealous of everyone's jealous of what you got. No one's ever jealous of how you got them. So no one ever sees the grind, the pain, the grit, the arduous long hours, all the shit that it takes to get to that level, and pain and unfortunately can be a powerful motivator. But what would your advice be to, say, a young man today that's struggling in the world? Maybe he has a deceased parent, he's on the verge of a breakdown, but what would your advice be to him?
I would say to fuck all the background noise off. Stop listening to other people. Stop seeking sympathy from people. Don't worry about anyone else other than yourself. Don't worry about pleasing anyone. When we're super young in our 20s, all we want to do is fit in, and we want to have lots of friends. We want to please everyone. We want to be a part of the crowd, a part of the scene. You know what I mean? Fuck the scene. Fuck the friends. Fuck the people. It's all bullshit. Do you still have the same friends you did now than you did 15 years ago?
I do, actually.
How many of them?
Yeah, only a small amount. Like
what
maybe
happened to
4
the
or
rest?
5. Oh, just lost touch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. People change.
Yeah.
So my biggest advice to these young kids will be like, don't think the people around you now are going to be there putting food on your table and putting a roof over your head. The only people that are going to do that are your immediate loved ones, your mum and your dad and your siblings, and possibly your wife or your girlfriend. Everything else in this life, it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's all bullshit. It all comes and goes. Your friends now won't be your friends in 10 years' time. And if you are, you're a richer person than anyone else around you. You know what I mean? So I would just say focus on themselves. Stop caring about what people think. And that's the biggest one. Stop fucking caring about what people think. These people aren't fucking putting money in your bank. They're not putting food on your table. You know, so what are their opinions? Their opinions are like fucking assholes, bro. It doesn't, none of it means shit. Like, no matter what I do now, even at the top of my game, I do good. What, 90% of people will say positive things, but there'll be 10% of people that just talk absolute crap. So no matter what I do, I could be Mother Teresa and fucking cure cancer. Not everyone's still going to be riding with what I'm doing. So my biggest lesson that I've learned in life is, who gives a fuck what every motherfucker says? I'm going to do what makes me happy. Whether that's good or whether that's bad, I'm not trying to be a role model. I never sought out in this fucking game and started this game to be a role model to all these fucking men. It just fucking happened. You know, but that's a little bit unfair on me too, because I've now got these heavy shoes to fill. If I do anything that's like off grid or doesn't seem to be like worthy of like the level I'm at, then people just get butthurt. But I think people forget, dude, I'm just a fucking normal guy. You know, I do normal things. I'll smoke a cigarette. I'll go out and do weed. I'll go out and party. But at the same time, I'll work my fucking ass off. I'll grind. I'll commit to that competition. I will work hard on my businesses. I'll try to be a better person than I was yesterday. But I'm not fucking perfect. I don't try to be perfect. So I think people need to stop idolizing people. See people for who they are. Take the good from them. And then don't follow the bad, and then apply that to your own life to be an even better person. Yeah. You know, so many people sit there and be like, I want to be like you, Said. I want to be like you, Chesty. I want to build your physique. I want to have your life. Motherfucker, don't worry about me life. Be better than me. Be 100 times better than me. You know what I mean? So I think to young men, my biggest advice would just be to follow their heart and to not listen to outside noise, whether that's from their teachers, their parents, their friends, anyone. Just don't worry about these guys. Do what's good for them. Have a plan B, but also follow your plan A, whether that's, you know, taking yourself through school, learning a trade, becoming a doctor or a lawyer and going to university or getting a diploma. Do the safe thing first. I did the same thing first too. But always have a plan B, your passion, your hobby, your love. And then slowly and slowly invest less into A and put more into B, in the hopes that plan B will take over plan A one day.
Yeah.
And then you can do what you truly, truly, truly love.
Do you think young men are in crisis right now?
In what sense?
So I think there's a war going on right now. And, you know, you mentioned too, like we had our action stars to look up to, Van Damme, Schwarzenegger, Stallone. You know, we had all these action stars to look up to. And, you know, when we were last talking on the podcast, you know, like Harry Styles is wearing a dress and
what the fuck? Even Will Smith's kid now is walking around like a fucking pineapple.
Yeah, like these young kids, man, they don't have action role models to look up to. You know, Schwarzenegger, we looked up to him as well, but I think young men are in crisis. But what do you think?
Do you know what it is? A part of it? Privilege. Privilege. Half these kids you just mentioned, they're born into immense wealth, you know, and when you're born into wealth and you're born into privilege, you're not going to know any better. You're going to be a fucking piece of shit stained turd on society. What good are you going to do for society? We were put on this earth to help humans and help one another. So if you're the kid of privileged parents, like look at Arnold Schwarzenegger's kids. Half of them don't even fucking lift or train. Like, what a shame that would be, man. I can't imagine what that man must be feeling. And I'm not saying like, look, it's not all about bodybuilding and following in your parents' footsteps and shit like that. But when there's privilege, there's a saying that, which one is it? Tough times create tough men. Can you say for me?
Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times.
I always fuck that one up, but thank you. You said it perfectly. And that goes back to what I'm saying, dude. Like, if you give a kid or a young man too much of something, then they're not going to understand true adversity and pain. Now, I come from a family that were pretty well off, mind you, but I never had a taste of any of their riches or successes. In fact, quite the opposite. Quite the opposite, you know what I mean? I've been kicked out of home for many things. Like when I was 18 years old getting earrings, I got kicked out of home for having bad grades. And, you know, my parents were very strict in my upbringing, very, very, very helicopter parenting, very strict. And at the time I hated them for it, but it taught me to become a man, and it gave me a chip on my shoulder. I'm like, Why won't my parents even give me like $10 for lunch in school so I can buy the chicken wings that I like? No, you eat this food, it's cheaper, it's better. You want your own food, you go get a job. You work so you can get a job. You get good grades, we'll give you an allowance. Everything was there for positive reinforcement, to work hard, to get a good job, to become a good, upstanding citizen. And because of that, I've felt the lowest of lows. And because of that, I wanted to rise up and feel the highest of highs. And I think Andrew Tate said it best. What point is it being born rich if you never experienced what it was like being poor? Yeah. And I'm not saying I'm fucking rich. I'm far from rich. I'm doing great. But from being where I was, from being like essentially poor and not having anything, coming into this country as an immigrant kid, 7 years old, couldn't speak a word of English. You know, I remember coming into preschool and primary school, I didn't know how to tell the teacher where the fucking toilet was, and all the kids would laugh at me and call me Wog Boy. Back when the Wog Boy was popular, Nick Janiopoulos, and it was all about making fun of Wogs and Asians and shit like that. That's the time and era I grew up with. I had to run fucking home to find the toilet, to use the toilet, because I couldn't ask my teacher in English where the toilet is. I was a proper import kid. You know what I mean? So for me, I experienced the lowest of lows. And then because of that, I always was hungry to be successful, to be someone more in this world. And I always felt that even before I became Chestbrah, and before the whole Ziz and Chestbrah aesthetics crew movement, before any of that crap, I always felt special. I always felt like I had something in me to do more. I was always a hustler, even from a young age. I was going door to door selling chocolate and candy bars when my parents were home. I would stash all their chocolates, put in one jar, print off a cute little label on the print. I'd go door to door and sell chocolates and make hundreds of dollars every week just to go buy my own foods and buy my own video games, because I was so restricted. I couldn't play my own video games. I wasn't allowed anywhere off my street where my parents couldn't see me from their windows. Proper helicopter parenting. And, you know, I didn't get a taste of any of their money. So I had to work for everything that I've had. Like, I'm self-made and did everything for myself. And because of that, it feels so fucking great. And going back to your question, this is why kids now are so misguided, because they're not disciplined enough. They give them fucking 6 and 7 place trophies and a pat on the back, and they take them to school and tell them that they can use the fucking toilet that says gender neutral and this and that. Like, cunts just got to take it back to fucking what it originally was. You know what I mean? And I think because of that, there's so much confusion. There's so much jumbled bullshit in schools and in the system. And they're taking away the male figures of society, the Van Dammes, the Arnold Schwarzeneggers, the Sly Stallones, and they're replacing them with, I don't even know what they're replacing with, excuse me, but they're replacing them with a shadow of those kind of figures that we used to grow up with, and that's what we're seeing today, man.
Yeah, one of the biggest detriments to society, Chesty, is the phrase toxic masculinity. There's no fucking thing, no such thing as toxic masculinity. There's toxic people, but there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. I think society is pushing a narrative to say that being masculine is toxic, which is a load of shit. Some of the most kindest, benevolent people I've met in my life are trained killers. Like, I have friends of mine that have fought MMA. I've got a mate of mine who's an ex-Special Forces commando. You know, masculinity, I think, forefront is what is needed right now in society. What do you think right now is happening in the world with regards to young men being confused, society pushing this narrative of toxic masculinity? What the fuck is going on in the world right now?
Well, I think it's such a big agenda, and I think they're just trying to break down the family unit. I think the forces above, can't believe I'm saying it like this, but I think the forces above want there to be a dual household with double incomes. Taxes are rising. Government wants more money. If they can get women in the working force as much as men, it dismantles the family unit. It causes problems. Women are the biggest consumers of consumerism and online shopping, not men.
Yep.
You know, my girlfriend goes online and buys a whole bunch of fucking shit every day. I don't know what the fuck she's buying. It's just what women do. If women make more money, if women have high-paying jobs, there's more consumerism. There's more things being spent. Taxes become higher. Low and gone are the days where the man is the breadwinner and works, and the wife is a stay-at-home wife and cooks and cleans, like in the 1950s. You know what I mean? And back then, shit worked like that. Women were happy to be submissive and feminine and cook and clean. That was like their biggest dream. Their biggest dream was to be a housewife with kids around them, to cook a nice meal for their husband and their children, and have the house clean, and clothes and washing and food all done and ironed. And now I say something like this, I'm going to have 90% of these 3 out of 10 dykes like getting aggressive at me, saying, "Oh my God, that's so misogynistic." But I'm sorry, my parents were raised like that. Lots of ethnic communities, it's very normal, and like that, Latin America, it's very normal like that. You go to many Southeast Asian countries, which is why a lot of white dudes leave this country to go marry Southeast Asian women, because even fucking white Australians and Americans are sick of their own fucking women. They act like men. You know, they fucking have a high body count, like 20, 30 guys, and then we're supposed to like to see that as their end goal. Like, wow, this is going to be the woman I marry. I've worked my whole life and become this high value man with this great paying job, and now I get some used up female that's been fucked by 20 guys and it's been passed around, and what a lucky guy I am. Wow, what a catch. And if something fucks up, she gets to take half my shit. That doesn't sound fucking right, does it? That sounds like the worst business fucking deal known to mankind. I'd rather be fucking single, keep all my money, keep all my wealth, and just fucking do whatever the fuck I want, without knowing that one day half my shit's going to be taken, and without having the anxiety and stress knowing that I might walk down the street, my woman's been fucked by like 30, 40 dudes that I don't even know about. Like, and I'm sorry, so many guys are fucking bitches that won't speak up about this because they're scared of getting cancelled or scared of being judged. But I'm in a position where I can talk about it because I can do whatever the fuck I want. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about that shit. But I think women need to start being more women. And I think women will be happier to start acting more like women. And I think men, don't even get me started with men. Men are the biggest problem of all of this. It's not even the women's fault.
I agree.
If men actually fucking acted like men, all this bullshit would stop. If men started focusing more on improving themselves, upskilling their work, like actually wanting to work. Like, Aussies are just inherently lazy. Going to Queensland, everyone's retired. No one wants to fucking work. We have Filipino workers being outsourced for phone centers, and Indians taking all the hard jobs, and all the immigrants now buying all of Australia and taking all the investments and property. Why do you think that is? Because they're harder working. They've come from fucking shit and filth, so they appreciate the good life. We are so unappreciative in this country, and we are so privileged, the men and the women. And I think that's what's happening. It's softened everyone up. It's softened women up. It's softened men up. And men are too scared to grow a set of nuts and to create boundaries for themselves, what they expect and what they want in a relationship. And, you know, and that's why you have all these simps. That's why you have OnlyFans. What fucking loser would fucking, I would never spend $1 of my phone, God is my witness, I would never spend $1 of my life to pay for an OnlyFans or porno subscription. It's just the dumbest shit I've ever fucking heard of. I just don't understand it. And these simp, loser, pathetic men are out there, you know, funding these sugar baby lifestyles and OnlyFans and all these degenerate shit. And that's why you have these dumb fucking women who can't even string a sentence of English together properly, thinking they're self-made, thinking they're killing it and crushing it. Well, meanwhile, all they are is an online prostitute, and society gives them a clap and tells them it's okay. 15 years ago, these women would be shamed for acting like this. There should be shame brought back into culture. Bullying should be brought back into society, because bullying helped me to excel as a man. Shame helped keep women in line and not doing stupid shit, so their mums and dads and families and their family name, they're still proud of them. But now, it's just a fucking free-for-all. Like, it's just unbelievable, you know? So I would say to anyone out there in the dating world, good luck. Do your research and find someone that's like with your values and your morals.
We had a great conversation about this last time, Chesty, and I had a lot of young dudes reach out to me and really liked what you just said. Women now too, man, are outpacing men both in education and employment.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
I think that should be praised.
Yeah.
I think women deserve that. I think us men fucking held them down for so long. I don't blame them for fucking pushing back, but this pushback is a little bit too much. There has to be a pushback from the men now, and there is slowly. And eventually what's going to happen, it's going to go back a little bit to normal, closer to normal.
Yeah.
Because right now women have all the power. I don't think men should have all the power, and I don't think women should have all the power. And that's another thing. I don't want anyone to get this podcast twisted and think that I'm hating on women or I'm hating on men being pussies. I just think that traditionalism and traditional roles, that shit's been working for fucking centuries. Why the fuck has it changed in the last 20 years? And people are more depressed as ever. They're more divorced women than ever, and men are lonelier than ever, and the suicide rates are through the roof. Why do you think that is? What? Because it just happened out of thin air? The last 20 years. Feminism and all this bullshit has just caused all this, man. Yeah. It's obviously not working.
Yeah, and you did, man. You mentioned too that it's destroyed the family unit. You know, divorce rates are going through the roof. Mental health is going through the roof as well. You mentioned on the podcast last time hookup culture. So you were highlighting that many women are engaging in hookup culture where a few high-status men are dating multiple women and many men are left without partners. Yeah. And do you think this is also exacerbated loneliness and dissatisfaction in relationships?
I mean, look, I can't speak for all these guys personally because I've lived a completely different life. I've always had abundance, but I can imagine if I was one of those guys that was 80% of the male population, your average Joe Blow, making 70, 80K a year, average looks, average income, average personality, everything. Yeah, it'd be fucking hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't for me 20 years ago when I was a really, really average guy. Girls would come up and talk to me on the street just out of nowhere because times are different. People just come up and strike conversations and they would want nothing from you. It was really innocent. I could go up and speak to a girl when I was 18, 19 years old out in the cross on the street just because, and then a week later we're going on a date to McDonald's. I didn't have to go to no fucking Bangaroo fucking 5-star fine dining restaurant and buy fancy bags and shoes for all these fucking women who don't deserve it anyway. It was a much simpler time, but I think somewhere down the line feminism taught women that, hey, we can milk men and their resources because they want us anyway.
Yeah.
So let's do that and then let's see what we can get. But here's where women are a bit fucking stupid. They think just because they're getting fucked by Chad and getting fucking smashed by all these Chads and good-looking guys that that's what they can achieve. Many good-looking guys fuck many ugly girls. Like, we're all guilty of it. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean we want them. Sometimes guys just want the easy pickings and easy options. But just like girls, there's girls that guys fuck and there's girls that guys date. And it's the same with the girls. You know what I mean? They just keep a secret a little bit better. So I think these girls become deluded, these 4 out of 10s and 5 out of 10s, thinking, oh my God, like all these hot guys are influencers and this and that. Or fucking, I knew Chris Brown slid into 2 really average girls' DMs that I knew from Melbourne, and he slept with both of them on the same night. And now these girls think they're like some hot shit, but really, it was just some fucking famous dude wanting to get 2 easy Aussie chicks. And now they get such a distorted view that they think they are entitled to these 9 out of 10 rich guys who make millions of dollars a year. But really, guys are fucking pieces of filth. We'll fuck anything. That's the truth.
I think too, man, we're rewarding the bad behavior. So women obviously chasing the top percentile of men. Unfortunately, they get used and heartbroken.
Yeah, pumped and dumped.
Yeah.
And then they end up with what they deserve.
You've got the
if
army.
If they're a 4, they stay with a 4.
Yeah.
If they're a 6, they'll stay with a 6.
Yep.
It's just the way the world works.
And then you've got the army of simps, obviously subscribing to OnlyFans. That's not fucking helping either.
They're the worst. Don't even get me started on men. Men are a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
If men stopped being fucking losers and took control of their lives and stopped religiously watching porn, stopped religiously eating bad food and shit and not exercising and not doing soul-enriching activities and just having a support network of strong, like-minded individuals, and then they could do so much more with their life. But men are fucking pathetic.
Well, get a load
and
of
they're
this.
aiding to this industry.
Yeah. One in 3 men between the ages of 18 and 30 hasn't had sex in the last year.
33%.
1 in 3 men, bro. Yeah.
I think I went celibate on purpose.
Yeah.
Pushing all women away when I was single for 9 months on purpose.
Yep.
And it was hard just to keep them away from me.
Yeah. 50% of men say that they're not looking for a committed relationship as well.
Well, why would they?
I think
what is there for them to gain?
Yeah.
What, a girl that slept with 20 guys that's like probably full of problems? A girl's pair bonding ability stops after about 5 or 6 body counts. Do you know? And that's scientific evidence. All you women can hate on me as much as you fucking want, but it's all out there, scientific proof. After 5 or 6 men, women become the chance of pair bonding and developing those natural love hormones towards a man and being obsessed with a man, they disappear. And with men, it's the exact opposite. And yeah, it's not fair, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles. A man can fuck 100 women and they actually become more inclined to change and to actually seek something more and something more fulfilling. It's actually the exact opposite. You know what I mean?
And I think also too, Chesty, dating apps haven't been too successful either.
Yeah. Go on a dating app and write that you're 5'8". See how many girls want you.
Yeah. I think
See how many girls want to pick a date with you.
Yeah.
They look at your height and your income. First thing, 6 figures, 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
Like, motherfucker, I'm not even 6 foot tall. I'm 5'11". That will count me out, apparently. Apparently, I'm a low value male.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think the stats bear this out on Tinder. Women will swipe right 4% of the time, while men will swipe right 60% of the time as well.
I disagree. I think men would swipe right almost 100% of the time and see what actually like matches with them.
Yeah, and you're right too. Obviously, guys will take anything.
Yeah.
There was a study by Morgan Stanley that forecasts 45% of prime working age women between the ages of 25 and 44 will be single and childless by the year 2030. In fact, they are so certain of this, they did this research on Morgan Stanley so that their investors would know what to invest in, like box wine and cat toys. And that's just for women, bro. For men, it's even worse. Non-partnered childless men in society tends to be the most unstable. Men who don't have a reason to behave will commit violent crimes, have a lack of purpose, and be unable to contribute meaningfully to society. How do you think, too, this is going to impact society, and what steps can be taken to address these challenges before they lead to negative consequences, bro?
Well, obviously, judging from that statement, we can all agree that women need men and men need women. Men feel better with women and women feel better with men. We feel great together. We're a great unity together when we accept our roles and our place in the relationship. There always has to be one alpha in the relationship and there's always has to be one beta. It's just the way it is. There's always going to be someone who's the breadwinner. There's always going to be someone who's, taking care of other duties. You can't have two simps or two betas in a relationship or two alphas in a relationship. It will never work out. The heads will always butt. I think moving forward, I think social media has just ruined everything.
Yeah.
I think it's skewed a lot of things. Like I could sit here and tell you like at least half a dozen girls that I would know back in the day that had famous celebrities like Jason Derulo and Chris Brown in their DMs, and these girls were nothing special. Nothing special. And they're like, oh, look, I'm speaking to Chris Brown or Jason Derulo or Drake liked my photo. Average fucking girls with like 5,000 followers on Instagram because word of mouth gets around really quick when there's super hot females, amongst fucking all these elites and shit. And just, I think social media's ruined it first. It's giving girls themselves can't handle fame and ego as much as a man. Find me a woman who's got the same amount of following as me, 500,000. I got 500,000, probably total of 1 million followers, including TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and the running comments I've heard about my personality is like I'm a chill guy, I'm a humble guy, I'm very simple, and I'm a nice dude. You know what I mean? Find a girl with the equivalent of me, like with the same amount of followers as that. She'll be a fucking bitch. I'm telling you, should be a bitch. I'm telling you, should be attention seeking, wanting men, posting bikini photos 24/7. And she'll just be like, she'll be like a godless person. And that's just, I feel like women can't handle attention and fame as much as a man can. It tends to not keep them as grounded. Because I essentially don't think it's like designed for them. And by design for them, I'm not saying they can't do it, they can. But I think it gets to their head a little bit too much because women naturally are attention-seeking creatures. I do shit not to seek attention, you know what I mean? I'll go to the gym, train for 2 hours, this and that, and bodybuild, not to seek attention, but for ego. Men are different. We are ego-driven. We do things for ego, to be the top dog, to be the top man, to walk in the room, to have that confidence and that aura, and to put on other men because we're the top dog, we're the fucking lion of the pack. Women just want to be the center of everyone's attention. Guys, girls, they just want everyone to look at them, acknowledge them, pay them compliments. They feel all warm and fuzzy. I couldn't give two shits what people say about me. They can like me, they can hate me. I know I'm a fucking sick cunt through and through. It doesn't mean shit to me. But women need that support network that men don't need. But I take that back. Sometimes men do need a support network because there's a lot of lonely men out there and a lot of men that are suffering. And if we did have a support network without being called pussies or soft or just harden up and take a cup of cement and harden up or just, she'll be right, man, get along with it, then, maybe we'll stop seeing so much like mental health in men.
Yeah.
So much suicide problems in men. Maybe there'll be more support networks for like-minded individuals and men to come together, to play sports together, to do hobbies together, because women's support network is incredibly strong. From the moment they're born to the day they're old, their parents and their families are always there as a support network, as a backbone. Men, like, we're kind of just like fucking kicked to the curb by the time we're 18 and made to fend for ourselves and become a man. so to speak. So the support network isn't there, and I think there's different challenges for both sexes, for the men and the females. But I think we just got to bring it back to basics, man. As I'm going to keep saying on this podcast, we just got to bring it back to basics, or at least close to basics. It don't ever got to be the same. You know, women have been dicked all this time with the wage inequality and the sexism in the workplace and not feeling safe. A woman should be able to walk down the fucking street and feel safe. I shouldn't have to fucking be scared and on high alert every time me and my girlfriend are out in a different city, knowing that like something bad might happen. That's literally my initial, that's a masculinity to me. I'm just like, something bad happen to this girl. She can't look after herself. I have to fucking look out for her. You know what I mean? And it's just that embedded feeling in me. And it's like, you would understand, like you're always on edge. If you're out of your environment, out of like the place of like comfort, you're just always on edge. And it shouldn't be like that either. Women should be safe to like walk the streets and go about their day. And, you know, and men should have a strong support network as well. So they can drift through life and not feel these feelings that majority of guys are feeling, dude.
Yeah, you did mention too, Jesse, that there is actually a male loneliness epidemic. The number of friends a man would report having back in the early 90s was around 6. Mm-hmm. Now that number is 0. So the number of close friends back in the 90s, obviously, you know, was 6. Mm. And to think now that it's 0, like a lot of men don't really have a support system. And men are fucking lonely, man. I don't think people seem to understand this. Above 70 to 80% of suicides are men. 1 in 3 men are more likely to kill themselves. We have a huge fucking problem right now, and we're starting to see a rise in female depression and suicides too. And you know, how can people sort of maintain a support network? What would be your suggestion, especially men too?
I think it's becoming a little bit better. I think women are helping men to open up more with their feelings, which is nice. I think there's some positives of feminism, which actually encourages men to speak up about their feelings and speak up about what they're going through and offer them like support networks and give them a safe space to vent and talk and be themselves, which is one of the nicer things of feminism. I have noticed that. I actually feel more freely inclined to be my quirky, crazy, unorthodox self in this day and age than I did 10 years ago when I was mocked and ridiculed for being like different, you know, like mocked and ridiculed like to the worst degree. And now everyone's like, fuck, no, this guy's a sick cunt. Like he's unique. He's got charisma. He's got aura. But really, my differences now are just celebrated as they were not, as before they were shunned. They were shunned and they were ignored because I was different to most fucking dudes, you know, and that's what it is. So I think with feminism and the changing times, there's more of a support network for men to open up and to really truly be who they are and be themselves without feeling shame, without feeling guilt. And you see it everywhere. You see it through movies now with the male actors obviously like showing a different side to them, showing more emotion. Hell, you even see it with your famous influencers. Like, I'll use C-Bum as an example. You'll watch a video of him and you'll watch a video of him crying, and he's like the epitome of masculinity. You'll see a video of this dude crying about his prep and how hard his life is, speaking of his like girlfriend and kid and that. But if some hard-ass bodybuilder spoke like this 20 years ago, he'd probably get laughed at.
Yeah.
So things have changed a lot. Women are becoming more receptive and more caring and more supportive for men opening up and truly being themselves, which creates a safe space for men to be themselves. But obviously there's still always going to be those toxic women that, you know, kind of taunt and shame men for acting like that. But I think that's changed a lot. I think women are becoming a lot more better for that, and it's helping men a lot. So I think women now are not to blame for that. I think they're doing a great job to make men feel more comfortable expressing themselves and, you know, showing their emotion. And I think men, still it's just that inherent stigma that they're still trying to fight. And like, we're getting better, but we're not quite there yet. Like, if you think about it, even like 10 years ago, like I had a hair transplant about 8 years ago when it was just socially acceptable. I was one of the first guys to do it. And now every motherfucker's jumped on board that the turkey hair transplants, we're all doing this and that, and guys are proud and posting about it, this and that. 10 years ago, it was almost shameful. Like, oh my God, you got a hair transplant. And now it's just like, yeah, the dude wants to restore his hairline because he's lost his hair. What the fuck is he going to accept the fate of being bald when he doesn't have to? Like, just makes no fucking sense. If a woman can wear makeup and fucking high heels, why can't a guy get a hair transplant?
Yeah.
What, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Why not? Yeah. Like, you know, so I think times have changed. Men are being more accepted to do things that they originally weren't accepted to do before. I think that's one of the good moves of society. I think that's great. I just think that the masculine and the feminine roles still should not be intertwined too much, and they still should be distinct and separate, whilst allowing men and women to truly be who they want to be without shame.
When's the last time you cried, bro?
Fuck, I cry all the time. I'm not shy of crying either. Like, if you follow my journey, and for anyone else that followed my journey, like, there'll be times where I talk about my brother and I mention my brother, and, you know, there'll be times where I don't cry at all. I don't even like stutter. I don't like break a sweat, nothing. But then there'll be other times where I can be caught off guard and I'll just absolutely, you know, unapologetically just burst into tears to the point where I can't even speak and function. So when it comes to my brother, that's a very soft spot for me. And it's always temperamental. Just depends on my mood. Other times that I've cried. Genuinely, when I've like done something wrong within myself and my morals and values, and I have felt that I've done something wrong, I felt that I've gone against who I am and I'm not true to myself, or if I felt like I've truly hurt someone and deep down, like, those weren't my intentions. Because we don't, like, none of us really go out there to try hurt someone unless you're truly evil. You don't go out there to try hurt someone and break their feelings or hurt their hearts. So I think times in the past where I was clouded with like misjudgment, misguidement with my own personal issues and conflicts, and just through projection and my own pain and my own trauma and my own bullshit, if I anytime hurt people along the way, guys, girls, as I grew up and I developed a bit in my journey, I would actually reach out to a lot of them and apologize. Not for anything that I wanted from them, but more for my own internal peace and to move forward and to become a better man. But yeah, in saying that, I still cry all the time. Sometimes I think about certain things and I'll cry. So sometimes I'll watch a fucking movie that hits me in the fucking feels, and I'm just like, I've got a tear rolling down my eye. I'm like, what the fuck am I crying?
I watched The Green Mile the other day and I shed a tear. Have you seen The Green Mile? You seen that movie?
Eminem?
It's with Tom Hanks, and it was Michael Clark Duncan. He was the big black guy who unfortunately died a few years ago from a heart attack, but it was a fucking powerful movie.
Green Mile. I can't say I have, but I might check it out after this.
Check it out, man. Check it out. Yeah, no, I shed a tear, but same. I cry all the time, man. Like, I'll watch a video of a kid with cerebral palsy that's learning how to walk and you know, and powerful things like that, man. I'll just sort of shed a tear. Yeah,
well, that means you have a heart, bro. I'm the same. Like, I'll sometimes watch a movie and I'll catch myself fucking crying, and it's really hard for me to cry. But when I cry, I'm like, I don't hide away from it. I'm like, oh my god, no, like, I'll just fucking cry and that's it. Like, it just happens. Yeah. But there's not many of us that are like that are comfortable doing that.
It makes you feel good too, bro.
Yeah, it fucking feels mad. Yeah, it's like a relief.
I think being hard 24/7 will fuck you up.
Yeah, I think it's a bit stressful, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in saying that, you can't be too overly emotional anyway. Yeah. You just have to be real. Yeah. If you're upset in the moment, fucking cry, bro. Who gives a fuck? Yeah. If you're angry in the moment, be angry. If you're sad, if you're quiet, just repressing feelings as a man is like the worst thing you can do. So just be your genuine, authentic self and just roll with it, man. Whether it's good or bad, they're always going to come and go, bro. That's just what it is.
What can heartbreak teach you?
Heartbreak can teach you to advance and excel. Heartbreak can obviously make you become a better person, a better man. And they say, for example, for men, like, heartbreaks make bodybuilders. Let's just take the bodybuilding aspect out of it. In general, when you think about it, when a man gets his heart broken by a woman or anything, they tend to excel 10 times better. They'll focus more on their physical activity. They'll focus more on making money. They'll focus more on, just being a better person and fixing their problems and just really, like, just getting that nice car, that promotion at work. And a man will really self-improve when they've had their heart broken, especially by a woman, to become a better man. But same can't be said for a woman if she gets heartbroken by a man. The first thing she wants to do is go sleep with another man. Literally. Not, I'm going to go get a better job or I'm going to focus on being a better woman. The first thing they literally do, they'll just go sleep with another man. So women and men are completely different when they have their hearts broken by the opposite sex. I think men have their heart broken a lot worse than a woman during heartbreak, and I think it takes them a lot longer to get over it. I think that's actually scientifically proven too, to be honest.
I have heard that, men experience heartbreak a lot worse than women. I have
much
heard that.
worse, yeah.
Yeah.
For a woman to move on very quickly, women can have plan B set up when they've still got plan A.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some of them are just fucking conniving creatures like that, and they're just built so differently. So I think heartbreak for a man is a lot harder. Like if a man loses his kids and gets divorced, it affects the man 100 times more than it affects the woman. Not only does he lose half of his shit, but he loses his fucking kids. And then the woman holds the kids as a dangling toy over the man to get what the woman wants. It's also bad. I've had friends who've, their wives have left them and taken their kids and they barely see their kids away. And I speak to some friends of them now where they got remarried again and, their ex-wives don't even let them see their children out of spite. And it's like, shame on you, man. Like, the kid deserves to see his father. Like, the dad's been a good dad. How could you deprave your child from having a father figure? And it's just disgusting how they use the children as ammunition and as pawns on a chessboard. So, yeah, it hits people differently, men and women, when they experience heartbreak.
Yes.
But I think for men, it's an opportunity for growth.
I agree.
A big opportunity for growth. Like my first heartbreak my first love, when I had my heart broken and this woman left me, was the best thing that ever happened to me in my fucking life. If I see that fucking bitch out there, I'd actually want to shake her hand and thank her. Like, I'm not even joking. I would thank her so much, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have launched my clothing brand. I would have not chased my social media dream, and I wouldn't have become such a fucking legend that I am today. I would have been working 9 to 5 in a shitty white collar job, answering to some schmuck for the rest of my life, making $80,000 a year, being fucking depressed, But I remember at the time, her and her whole family shunned me on my dreams and ambitions of becoming a social media star. They said the whole Ziz and Chestbrah thing was a fucking joke and a clown of a circus show, that I need to grow up, that I need to be more serious about life, and that I need to stop worrying about posting on my fan page and all these things. The second I lost some shitty job that was paying a mere $800 a week, I got ostracized for the family like I'm a fucking horrible person. And then from there, it catapulted me to launch Shavershian Fitness, and that's all she wrote, bro. The rest is history. Here I am 10 years later. Haven't had an employer, haven't had a boss for the last 12 years. I'm living my best life. I travel 4 or 5 times a year. I fucking have a great life.
Yeah.
And I'm just the happiest I've ever fucking been.
How many countries have you been to in total?
I can't tell off the top of my head, but probably more than 30, 40 countries.
Yeah, you still got a few more that you want to knock off as well?
Yeah, so me and the missus are going to Vegas in 2 weeks.
Nice.
Then we're going to Tulum, Mexico. Then I'm going to Turkey at the end of the year to retouch my hair, do another hair transplant. And that's it. Yeah, so I've got 3 trips this year and maybe another Bali trip, I think. Perhaps, we shall see.
Yeah.
It's already four overseas countries this year. Went to 5 last year. Went to Bali twice last year, Turkey again, Japan.
Japan's nice.
Japan was alright. It was a little bit how can I say? It was too structured, too rigid, too many rules. And you get bored of sushi all the time. Australian sushi, our sushi here is so much. Can we go for sushi after this? Goddamn.
It's more westernized. Our
sushi is so much better. I'm sorry, Japanese people. Our sushi is so much better than yours. Second best sushi, please visit Brazil, Sao Paulo. Shout out to Togi Toguru, man. You guys have the best fucking sushi. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, my mouth just watered. I just came out of diet, bro. Don't mind me. I'm so hungry.
Sorry, bro.
Apology accepted.
What about the gym, bro? What has the gym taught you?
Fuck the gym. No, honestly, what has the gym taught me? In how so? Elaborate.
So for me, man, I think it's helped with so much, the same thing, everything to the gym and martial arts, it's just made me such a better person. But knowing how to push myself through hard times, just knowing that being under a grueling bar and you're fucking struggling and then you get that last rep out and then you rack it, how good you feel afterwards. But the gym's taught me so much, bro. Yeah, what about you?
It's just for me, it's just been an anchor to my life to keep me from being crazy. I think. I think if I didn't have the gym, I would be an absolute party animal, and I think I would have no boundaries to my life. I think I would not have any discipline in terms of my eating and my work life, my work balance, my businesses. Gymming to the extent that I've gymmed has given me discipline, has turned me into a man. It's given me direction and motivation. And I think one of the things I remember my girlfriend told me when she first met me, which still sticks to me this day, one of the main things that attracted her to me was she saw how obsessed I was with like my competing and bodybuilding and the whole comp prep process. And in her mind, because she's such a smart, articulate, amazing person, in her mind, she was like, okay, if this guy's so committed to putting so much of his life and energy into this craft of his, which is bodybuilding and competing, and he's given away everything, friends, food, good times, like everything to focus on this one craft. If things work out between me and him, how much of that energy would he give towards the right relationship for him? Which is such an intelligent way of thinking. And I just like, that one's just stuck to me since, because I never saw myself in that light. Like, I never saw myself in the sense that, oh wow, shit, I am a truly motivated and dedicated individual when I put my mind on something. And maybe at the time I thought competing was the right thing to put my mind on, and maybe at that time in my life it was. But if I put that time and energy into other things and fixate onto other things as hard as I did with like the bodybuilding aspect of life, then I can see why to a woman that would be extremely appealing. It shows discipline.
Yep.
It shows courage. It shows priorities. It shows putting things aside and focusing on what you said you're going to do and seeing it through to the end. It's all very endearing qualities that I think a lot of women genuinely find attractive. And I think that's what it is. I think it's just an anchor to my life. It's an outlet for my depression and for my suffering, which I feel every day, as you know, from what's happened to me in the life I've lived. And it's just something that just constantly keeps me strong and keeps me grounded, bro.
Is there days where you feel, most happy? It would be in the gym?
Yeah.
Yeah?
When I'm not training, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Even now, I've had 3 days off eating binge food. 3 days in, I already feel like I feel relaxed, but I feel like something's missing. And I told my girlfriend, I'm like, oh, I'm going to take 2 weeks off gym. I don't think I'm going to take 2 weeks off. I think maybe another 2-3 more days, and then 5-6 days off gym. I'm going back.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I just can't. I feel like I lose myself.
Yeah.
I ain't going to compete, but I just have to maintain my physical fitness.
Yeah. And will we see you get into BJJ one day?
Oh, mate, that would be a dream. I've always wanted to be like a fucking wrestler. Like, always, bro. Like, I'm so intrigued with these fucking Dagestani fucking wrestlers and shit. And I grew up wrestling and doing a bit of wrestling when I was younger too.
Yeah.
And I grew up on sports, soccer, tennis, fucking skateboarding, bodybuilding, always something extreme. And I did wrestling for like 2-3 years in high school. I would love to, man. But I've always got on this back of my mind that I'm 39 years old. Like, I'm getting a bit older. Like, should I be? Can I be? But then everyone always tells me, it's like, why you always have to put everything to age? As people in their 50s and 60s wrestling. So never say never, man. I have so many friends that are trying to get me into BJJ. You're one of them, and my mate Ricky, shout out to Ricky, is another one of them. They want to just take me to some MMA and BJJ classes. But the thing is, like, man, I got a big mouth. And if I actually learn how to fight with my size, I don't want to have to go around fucking kicking people's asses, you know.
You're never too. You're never too
I'm
old, bro.
I'm a very like I don't know. I'm a very wild kid, bro. I just suppress a lot of my emotions, and I think gym calms me down because I train so hard and diet so hard. I think I'm just exhausted half the time.
Yeah. You're never too old, man. There was a 80-year-old that just recently got his jiu-jitsu black belt. And that's a phenomenal feat, man. Like,
that's retarded.
You know, the average time frame to get a jiu-jitsu black belt is about 10 years, bro.
10 years, yeah.
10 years. Like, it's an awfully long time.
It's the same with like getting a pro card.
Yeah.
In bodybuilding. It takes like 10 years.
Yeah.
I did the WBFF in 3 years. IFBB, it's 1 year. I came close. Fourth in the whole country. First in the Sydney show. But I don't know. I don't think I'll be competing again. to be quite honest.
Yeah,
I think I'm done. I don't think there's no
Yeah.
need for me. I'll keep challenging myself. I'll keep having a coach. I'll keep growing with my physique and everything. But I don't think at this point in time competing is doing anything for me. Yeah.
I think you'd really enjoy BJJ, bro.
You can tell from the type of person I am. Huh?
You would love it. And you know what too, man? It humbles you. Like I had a bit of grappling experience when I first started, but I got my ass handed to me by a girl, bro.
Damn.
Size and strength doesn't mean shit.
It's all technique. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Bible story, David
But in
versus
saying that,
Goliath.
if someone of like say your size and I had your skill level, I'd give you a hard time because same skill level, different sizes. That's when it matters.
Size and strength, but skill, like technique will always triumph strength.
True, but if you have two of the same people, they're both same strength, same skills, and one's like 6 foot tall, the other one's 5'7", and one's like 100 kilos, the other one's 70.
Yeah.
The bigger guy's always going to win.
Yeah, sometimes size does matter.
But this is assuming that the skill set and the level is the same.
Yeah.
But like, for example, like if I try to fight you, doesn't matter how big and tall I am, doesn't matter how like much smaller and lighter than you, your skill, you would have me on the mat in like 10 seconds, 20 seconds flat. But that's your expertise. If I took you to the gym, I'll outwork you and you'd be like, this cunt's a fucking freak.
Yeah.
As you've seen before.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where like people have come up to me on the street before and they're like, oh yeah, you're fucking big cuz, but can you fight? No, motherfucker, I can't. I'm a bodybuilder. Can you lift? How about you come to the gym and see if you can outlift me? All right? If you can do that, then I may fight you. But I'm just letting you know, you're going to beat me, bro, because I'm not a fighter.
Yeah.
So I always find things like that funny. But I think people like that are just like the plastic gangsters and fighters who aren't real fighters. Real fighters are more like you, who are humble and who actually want to teach and propel their sport to a larger audience because you know the benefits of it. It's like us bodybuilders. I would love everyone to be into bodybuilding and training and fitness to some sort of degree because I know how life-changing it is. I know how amazing it is for the heart, the mind, the body, and the soul. And it's something that I preach and I would love to preach to the bigger audience. Like outside of the bodybuilding realm, that's like my biggest dream. Just like for everyone on this God's given earth to be into fitness and health. And imagine everywhere we go, every fucking food court we're at, everything's just healthy. And there's thousands of healthy options everywhere and no one's fat. We live in a perfect world where everyone's 10%, sub 10% body fat or under, and everyone's fucking shredded. Now that's my idea of a heaven, bro.
What do you sort of sit at in your off season, body fat wise?
Off season, like on a heavy bulk or just maintaining?
Oh, just maintenance.
12% maintenance, heavy bulk 15%.
Yeah.
Right now,
still leanish, yeah.
shit, probably around like 9%.
Yeah.
8 or 9. I was 6% like 3 days ago.
Is that before you stepped up on stage?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. But I was a bit too lean. My face was very gaunt. Like my face is still kind of gaunt now. But it's filling out a bit nicely. I think I want to gain like maybe another 2-3 more kilos and just hold that weight. I'm right now, so I was on stage at 86 kilos. Right now I'm 90 kilos, so I put on 4 kilos in like just 2 days from my rebound. But that's not too much.
Yeah.
Some people can put on 10 kilos in like a day or two.
What was your split like? Was it run me through your split? What were you doing leading up to the comp?
For my peak week or
Yeah.
so peak week I would just have like 2 upper body days. Actually, in the peak week I didn't do any lower body at all. The week before I did. So peak week, 3 upper body days, just rotating from back and shoulders to back and chest to back and arms. Very light, leaving about 3 or 4 reps in reserve, which normally means you don't go to failure. You leave about 4 reps before hitting failure, and operating at a level of about 20-30% of what I maximally lift in terms of my exercises. So basically just maintaining a good pump, getting a good stretch and getting the blood and the carbs moving around during peak week. Yeah. So I'm not trying to go out there and kill myself. I'm not trying to go out there and grow muscle. I'm just trying to go out there and move the carbohydrates and the glycogen around and maintain some fullness and a bit of blood in my muscles.
Yeah. Was there a particular body part that you trained a lot more to try and fill it out a bit?
Yeah, definitely. Yep. So starting the prep, my coach told me that I needed to bring up my shoulders. My shoulders weren't as developed as the rest of my physique, and we did shoulders 3 days a week. And now everyone just asks me how the fuck did I get my shoulders so big? Like they're so round and cannibal like. Yeah. And it was just like through doing it more frequently and changing my exercise selection. So before I would just do free weight dumbbells, dumbbell side raises and stuff. And my coach got me to put on the cufflinks and link them up. And then it takes away all forearm work.
Yep.
And it's just all isolated shoulder work, nice and slow with a 3-second tempo, pause, 3-second tempo up. Just real slow, real controlled. And mate, I'm telling you, like, I've changed my training style in the last 6 months and it fixed and changed everything. It was a shock to my body and it was a shock to my training because I've been training like a certain type of way for such a long time that it actually helped me to progress more in my lifting.
Yeah, I did these ones, Chesty, the ones that we did when we last trained, the ones where you kind of line your back like this. And you
the ones I showed you?
Yeah.
They're good, huh?
With the straps?
Yeah, they really target the shoulders.
Hit your delts, bro.
Slow,
Yep.
hold, 3 seconds down.
Yeah.
You do those for 15 reps, 4 sets, back to back.
Yeah. They're just burning, man.
That's how they grow.
Yeah.
People think you're going to do heavy shoulder press, 100 kilos each arm. Brother, I do light weights, you see me, but like look how developed my muscles are. That's all bullshit. It's about time under tension.
And what about your legs, bro? They're looking phenomenal.
They fucking look great, huh?
Yeah.
They've really come up a lot.
Yeah. What were
Even my calves are like shit before.
Yeah. Were you so you're hitting your calves more frequently as well?
No, I haven't trained them for a year.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like in the last year or two, just everything's just grown. Like I've been smashing I think because I've been smashing my quads so hard, like leg press and hack squats, that obviously the calves are the secondary muscles. So they're also getting hit. But I don't isolate my calves as much as I should.
Yeah. I watched a video of Tom Platz.
I will though this time for my off season.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Do you remember Tom Platz, the bodybuilder?
Oh yeah. Who doesn't know Tom Platz?
I watched the video of him. He was squatting, I think, over 500 pounds. It's like 250 something kilos for reps of 25. Arse to grass. And I'm thinking, fuck, that is impressive, hey?
What about the one where he'll sit there and he'll do this leg extension, he's lying down.
Yeah.
Like this, and he'll bring him all the way up and he'll just hold him and just start screaming.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy's a freak.
Yeah. It's impressive, man.
I love training legs that hard though. It's the best. That's how hard I trained legs for the last like 5 years.
Yeah.
I had chicken legs before, bro. Chicken legs.
Yeah.
Half the fitness industry were like, oh, Chestbrah's got chicken legs. And I'm like, I'll fucking show them.
Yeah.
And
do you hit them about 2-3 times a week or?
Twice a week.
Twice a week? Yeah. And do you do like more quad day and then posterior
quad
chain?
Day and then hamstring day. But for the last 6 months leading up to Men's Physique, I took a break off training legs as intensely and I focused more on the upper body.
Yeah.
On the back, shoulders, chest and arms.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's next for you, bro? What have you got coming up?
So we got the Ziz and Chestbrah documentary. I'm still currently in the filming process of it all. It will be finished filming between October to February next year with a mid to late release on Stan next year. We are hoping, pray to God, all fingers crossed, that it eventually moves over to Netflix to a wider audience, which I think it will. I think any story with Aziz and myself just gets the right kind of people wanting to watch it. I mean, we're polarizing, we're interesting. People have grown up with us in Australia. I think this has been a long time coming, this documentary, and I can't wait to show the world and finish the chapter off. So they came to my comp and obviously they recorded my win and a whole bunch of other things, and now they're going to be just filming everything towards the end of the year, and that's it. Waiting for a release, and all shall be revealed in due time.
It's exciting, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, really exciting.
Yeah, just a big work in the progress. And aside from that, what have I got planned? I'm just going to optimize a lot of my businesses. Like I said, I want to focus more on my online coaching. Now that I have more time, I want to give back to my clients in terms of coaching and just helping people more like that. I've got a whole bunch of new Fire clothing. I see you wearing one of my merchandise, Version Fitness apparel. This is Trump tee, limited edition. Very nice, very cute.
Great shirt, bro.
I got to
represent, man. Got to represent.
Wait to see the ones I got coming out now. They're way better, bro. They're way cleaner, bro. So I got some really nice pump covers, some nice vests coming out. Just a few new different color festival shorts, which is super iconic. People love wearing those to festivals and to the beach. I got all that stuff coming. So I'm just going to plug the clothing, the supplement line, the cosmetics line, and the online coaching a lot more. And I've also had a few big prospects and companies reach out for some big brand deals coming up soon. That and the documentary. So competing is off the cards. Probably forever.
Do
to be honest, but never say never. If something changes in the future, sure, but for now, nah.
Yeah.
I'm done, bro.
Do you think
done.
there'd be a possibility maybe working with kids at all?
In what sense?
I mean, because obviously kids, you know, it's great to see more and more kids getting off the couch. They're not looking at their fucking tablets and, you know, like nutritional plans or working with kids. There would be an avenue
to be
down
honest,
that way.
I'm not really that patient with children.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm bad with children. I just don't have the patience for children. If I was to coach anyone at the level I'm at, it'd want to be like high caliber, high elite level athletes, as it's more my expertise. It's like telling me to train, would I be training pregnant women or postnatal women or children? It's not really my expertise. And there's different kind of people for different walks of life from people in fitness. And there's lots of coaches that are suited to train and push those kinds of people. It's just not me. And I don't pretend to be anyone other than I'm not. I know what I'm good at and I know where my strengths lie, and that's what I stick to mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, bro. And where can people find you, Chesty?
They can find me on Instagram, Said_Sergeyevich, TikTok, Chestbrah Official, and YouTube, Said_Shavershian, I do believe. And I think that's it. Yeah, they can find me on there, guys. Follow my journey. Got some really fire stuff coming up, and I appreciate you having me on here, man. Thank you for coming down to Sydney.
Nah, thank you, man.
And I mean, it's always a pleasure, James. Whenever you want to roll, I'm always here for you, bro. And I think I will be very much looking forward to seeing this podcast and hearing it out. I know I spoke a lot, but I mean, I am the guest, so I hope I gave you some insightful information.
No, you know what, man? Like, because you're thinking of starting your own podcast channel.
Definitely.
I've just learned so much, man, from podcasting.
Yeah.
It's been a blessing. It really has. And I think when you started too, you'll be the same, man. You learn so much.
Yeah. I mean, what I've learned the most is, as a guest, it's fine to take the lead and speak a lot. When I become a host, I'm going to have to learn to shut my mouth. And that's the hardest thing for me to do.
Yeah.
To be the actual interviewer, ask the right questions, do the homework before, digest and learn, and let the interviewee speak. So it'll be hard to go from the center of attention to the person seeking the attention from the viewee. But I will learn. I do like to lead, and I do like to find out about people's lives and stuff. So thanks for being one of those inspirations to starting my own channel, as well as many others. So it will be interesting.
Yeah, thank you, man. And have you got any advice for me, bro, just on what I can do to sort of have a better online presence, especially because, you know, I'm very active on social media?
Yep, I think you're definitely doing all the right things. I think get more guests, which you are. Get more guests that maybe people know about a little bit more. I've seen some of the guests that you do, maybe because it's not in my industry or my level of expertise, so I don't really know who they are. I would just say maybe find a niche and stick to that niche. I've stuck with my niche in my particular space in the fitness scene, like the whole aesthetics realm. You know what I mean? And it's paid off. So I think find a niche, stick to that niche, keep doing what you're doing with the high quality guests, and just keep the turnaround and turnover more frequent, and also show more of your personality. Aside from talking, don't be afraid to be your natural, goofy, funny self, whether that means doing silly TikTok videos or Instagram videos, recipe videos, making food. Just be yourself, like, because you might be accustomed to now being James, the interviewer, like sitting behind the microphone and being a certain type of way. But people might want to see more depth to you, because I'm sure there is more depth. I've trained with you and I know you, and I know there's so much more to you than what meets the eye. As with me, a lot of people didn't expect me to be the way I am until I actually started doing podcasts about 2-3 years ago. People were shocked. People thought I was a fucking retard. They're like, I didn't know Chesty's so eloquent and well-spoken. They had no fucking idea, dude. And then it just created a whole new like wave of conversation and I guess eyes on me. So take that to your advantage.
Yeah.
Show them all parts of who you are, all parts of your personality, the good, the bad, the ugly, and don't just show them the highlight reel.
Yeah. Awesome, bro. Thank you so much, man, for
I got
jumping
you,
on,
brother.
Chesty.
Thank you for having me, bro. Always
Awesome,
a pleasure.
bro. Yeah.
Always a pleasure, man.
Cheers,
and,
bro.
I hope you like the setup and the recommendation. Thank you, Liam. Thank you, gentlemen. It's a wrap.
Awesome.